Okay, I think it's about time you two got a room in prison.
Okay, let's talk about Big City Greens. Disney Channel is easily one of the biggest names in animation right now, and for a good reason too. There's pretty much something for everyone, offering a ton of fun stories of varying genres. The main thing that feels similar is that the majority of these cartoons have an overarching story. You can probably watch a few episodes here and there out of context, but for the most part, these are necessary to watch in order to get the best understanding. While story-driven cartoons are incredible, there are still times where you want to just relax with something that, well, isn't story-driven. Everyone needs a break from the serious stuff, and that's exactly where a little show called Big City Greens comes in. Created by the Houghton brothers, who have had experience with Gravity Falls content in the past, this is something that stands out among every other Disney cartoon as one of the channel's real heroes. Let's find out what makes this so great. Big City Greens follows the adventurous life of Cricket Green, a country boy who moves with his family from their rural farm to a modern metropolis. The concept itself is relatively simple, but it opens the door for an incredible amount of storylines in this vast city of imagination. Seriously, pretty much anything can happen in this place, especially when we're dealing with characters who aren't familiar with it. Over the course of the series, they'll have to get used to their new surroundings and figure out how to live a brand new life. As for the actual characters, you got your main dude Cricket, who's always just trying to have fun, while at the same time being super wholesome around everyone. Then there's Bill, the dad who just wants what's best for his family, but always willing to join in on adventures. Tilly is Cricket's sister, who's relatively quiet most of the time, while still bringing forth her imagination to make things more exciting. Of course, you can't forget about Grandma, who has absolutely no chill, constantly mentioning dark ideas about the world in the funniest way possible. There's also another family member who joins later in the series, but yeah, this is the Greens family. Let me be 100% clear. If you're looking for a massive story filled with lore, Big City Greens is not the place to be. There are some pieces of continuity, but for the most part, it's episodic and can be enjoyed at almost any point in the story without knowing what came before. It feels like the show doesn't get nearly as much attention as it deserves, but I understand why. It's easier for people to talk about overarching stories with secrets and mysteries, true. Although that's the case, there's still some love to be shown for relaxing stuff like Big City Greens. And hey, you may be wondering what makes it so special, so let me tell ya. I guess one of the most welcoming aspects of the show is that it's just so wholesome. By the end of almost any episode, you feel good watching whatever story plays out. These characters are a family, and obviously care for each other a lot. When they're together in an unfamiliar place like this city, it's only natural that they'd have each other's backs. Don't think that everything here is just some happy fun wonderland though, because there are moments of absolute darkness that balance out the wholesomeness in the best way possible. Like I said before, Grandma loves bringing up grim topics at pretty much any chance she gets, and it's great.
And you be grateful too, 'cause I ain't doing this again. Now get out of my house!
The show gets away with more than you'd expect, and it does result in some incredible jokes. Speaking of jokes, the comedy in Big City Greens is top of the line. I'm not kidding. It'll be hard to watch any episode without laughing a few times. I don't know how to describe it, but there's just something super relatable in what these characters say. A lot of the gags also don't resort to cheap laughs like farting or something random. They're genuinely clever lines that clearly have effort behind them. It's easy to go on and on about why this is Disney Channel's incredible underdog, but I think it's better if we dive deeper into a few episodes. Let's check out what I think are some of the highs of the series, at least from what I've seen so far. Level Up! Yes, this is how they do title cards, and yes, it's awesome! The episode sees Bill wanting to expand the farm even further, but that can't necessarily happen cause just look where they are. He eventually gets his hands on a brand new farming simulator game, one where he can do anything he wants, and he isn't limited to the boundaries of real life. Trouble arrives when he becomes trapped playing the game. He actually can't stop because he's having too much fun. Now, a decent portion of the episode is actually animated in this 3D kind of style, because everyone's in the game, and it feels unique from what came before.
We'll be forced to destroy your fake farm with these here fake tractors.
Yeah! Get ready to get trashed!
Whoa, okay, let's give him a chance to log off.
Sorry, you know I love to go sick online.
Over the course of these 11 minutes, the jokes are rapid fire, and they're constantly hitting. Anyone who's ever picked up a controller and couldn't put it down can relate to what's happening here, and it's just a really fun time. It's also the kind of story that's very specific to Big City Greens, since you have to remember the backgrounds of these characters. Since Bill is a farmer devoted to his work, it makes sense that he didn't really have much experience playing games before. Just the very idea that he's a noob to all this makes the concept even funnier. Underneath all this comedy though, was something a bit more meaningful. Bill only played the farm simulator because it felt like he was moving forward in the world and getting achievements. He's sad because in the city, there's no room for him to expand to the farm like the good old days, and it's hard for him to find change. We get a wholesome ending where the family works together to give him the real-life experience he's always wanted, and you can't help but smile. Another one of the show's better episodes is Grandma Driver, which centers around the family getting smartphones and the chaos that eventually follows. As the title suggests, Grandma becomes a Lyft Swift driver. Every member of the family gets in their own shenanigans throughout the story, but one thing is clear. It's hilarious. Big City Greens knows how to make you laugh, but this episode in particular was written in a way that it was fast-paced, both in its events and jokes. So much was happening here, but there was a nice balance. I think the highlight for me is this power couple, 100% inspired by Team Rocket, who go around committing crimes with Grandma as their getaway driver.
That's my car! And my son!
Ah, what a beautiful day, and the perfect place for a lean. Wow, that's no good!
Much like the car she's driving, this episode feels like a wild ride from start to finish that you do not want to get off of. It's a nice little goodie bag of everything that's fun with Big City Greens, all packed into just a few minutes. You see a bunch of the city, and of course, spend enough time with the family members on their own. Let's go to something much different in Cheap Show. Instead of going through the city on a grand adventure, the Greens are stuck inside. There may be a crazy festival going on right outside the house, but Bill wants everyone to stay in. This falls in that category of clip show / bottle episodes, but the characters are well aware of what's going on. They know that this is all just some cheap method to reuse old clips or stay in one place, and the jokes are stretched out to their maximum potential on that idea. While the Greens all stay in the house talking to each other, we still get cutaways to other scenes to keep our attention. We also get storyboards from Tilly because the budget is too low. There's a section where we only see their eyes, so it's not hard to animate. If there's any possible thing you can think of to make this episode as cheap as it can be, they probably did it. But that's not a bad thing. In fact, quite the opposite. I loved Cheap Show since it took such a dull premise and turned it into something great. Normally, these kinds of episodes in TV shows are slow without a real meaning, but the Greens being self-aware made everything more fun to watch. Oh yeah, and the fourth wall is literally broken.
Yeah, but Cricket did break the fourth wall.
The what?
The fourth wall. Look. See? He put a huge hole in it.
If we've learned anything today, it's that Big City Greens is awesome. It's one of the only big Disney shows that isn't relying too much on an overarching story, and that's something I can appreciate. There's a ton of fun to be had here, and I'd highly recommend watching more when you get the chance. Now, if you really don't want to start at the beginning, maybe watch one of the episodes I talked about to get a sense of what the show's going for. Give it a chance and you won't regret it. But anyway, that's all for this video. Subscribe for more awesome cartoon videos. Give a thumbs up and comment below, let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.